Have you ever felt it? That flicker of unease, like a cold breeze across your heart, when someone close smiles just a little too tightly. Have you caught a word, a glance, a pause that stings, even though they swear nothing's wrong?
Tell me, reader, when did you start doubting the warmth of those you trust? Or maybe the real question is this: why do you push that doubt away, burying it beneath excuses, when deep down, you know something's off? We walk through life surrounded by faces we call friends, family, allies, but what if some of those faces hide shadows you're too afraid to see? I'm speaking to you, the one reading these words, the one who's felt that quiet tremor in a moment that should have been safe. You're not imagining it. The human heart is a complex thing, full of light and dark, love and resentment, truths we speak and truths we hide. Carl Jung, that explorer of the soul's depths, understood this better than most. He wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Think about that for a moment. The unease you feel, the suspicion that someone's kindness isn't quite real. It's not just about them. It's a mirror, reflecting something you need to face. But before you can understand, you have to look. You have to dare to see the shadows. Here's a truth that cuts deep, one Jung would have nodded to. Not everyone who calls you friend wishes you well. Some people, even those closest to you, harbor hatred they'll never admit. Not to you, not to themselves. They wrap it in smiles, in compliments, in gestures that seem warm but leave you cold. And the worst part, you feel it, but you question yourself instead of them. You tell yourself you're overthinking, that you're too sensitive, that they'd never hurt you. But your gut knows better. Your heart knows better. The question is, will you listen? I remember a time when I ignored that knowing. There was a friend, let's call her Sarah, who was always there, always quick with a laugh, a hug. You're amazing. We'd share coffee, swap stories, plan futures that felt bright. But something was off. Her compliments had edges, sharp little barbs I couldn't quite pin down. "You're so confident," she'd say, but her tone carried a bite, like my confidence was a crime. Her laughter at my successes felt forced, her support thin, like a veneer over something darker. I brushed it off, told myself I was paranoid. Until one day, I overheard her speaking to someone else, her voice dripping with resentment, tearing down everything I'd trusted we shared. It wasn't just betrayal, it was clarity. I'd felt the shadow all along, but I'd chosen to ignore it. You've been there, haven't you? Maybe not with a friend, maybe with a sibling, a partner, a colleague, someone whose presence leaves a bruise you can't explain. You catch their eyes lingering a little too long when you stumble, their silence a little too heavy when you shine. And yet, you stay. You make excuses. You tell yourself it's love, loyalty, history that keeps you tethered. But let me ask you this: what's the cost of ignoring what you feel? How much of yourself do you lose when you let those shadows linger, unacknowledged, in the corners of your life? Relationships are mirrors, reader, but not all mirrors are kind. Some are cracked, warped, showing you a version of yourself that's smaller, weaker, wrong. Jung believed we're drawn to others because they reflect parts of us, our hopes, our fears, our hidden selves. But when someone secretly hates you, that reflection twists. Their resentment becomes a lens, distorting how you see yourself, making you question your worth, your choices, your light. And the longer you stare into that distorted mirror, the harder it is to recognize the truth staring back. I'm not saying everyone's out to get you. Far from it. Most people carry love, however imperfect, in their hearts. But some carry shadows they don't know how to face. Jung called it the shadow, that part of us we bury, the anger, envy, shame we pretend isn't there. When someone close can't confront their own darkness, they project it onto you. Your success becomes their failure. Your joy becomes their resentment. Your presence becomes a reminder of what they can't bear to see in themselves. And that's where the hatred begins. Not loud, not obvious, but quiet, insidious, cloaked in ways that make you doubt your own senses. It's heavy, I know. The idea that someone you care about, someone you've laughed with, cried with, built memories with, could hold a grudge you never saw coming. It's a weight. It's a betrayal, not just of trust, but of the story you told yourself about them, about you, about what it means to be close. And yet, there's power in this pain, because seeing the shadow isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about trusting your instincts, honoring your truth, refusing to let someone else's darkness dim your light. Jung's words echo here. The irritation, the unease, it's not just a warning. It's an invitation to understand, to grow, to reclaim the parts of yourself you've let others define. So, what will you do with that invitation? Will you keep looking away, pretending the shadows don't exist? Or will you turn toward them, not with fear, but with courage? I'm talking to you, reader, the one who's felt the sting of doubt, the one who's wondered if you're crazy for sensing what no one else seems to see. You're not crazy. You're awake. Your heart is speaking. Your soul is nudging you toward clarity. And clarity, as painful as it can be, is also freedom. It's the first step toward a life where you're surrounded by people who lift you up, not pull you down. This is just the beginning. The shadows are there, lurking in the corners of your relationships, but they don't have to control you. They don't have to define you. You have a choice to ignore the signs and stay in the dark, or to face them and step into the light. Jung believed that understanding others starts with understanding ourselves. So start here now with the unease you've felt but haven't named. What's it telling you? Who's it pointing to? And most importantly, are you ready to listen? The mirrors around you are reflecting something, reader. Some show love, some show truth, and some show shadows you can't ignore. The question is, what will you see when you finally dare to look? Why does a compliment sometimes feel like a slap? Have you ever walked away from a conversation with someone close, their words ringing sweet, but leaving a bitter taste? What is it about their laughter, their gestures, their carefully chosen phrases that makes your heart pause, as if it's caught a lie your mind hasn't named? You felt it, haven't you? That moment when kindness seems to shimmer, only to crack under the weight of something darker. The question isn't whether it's real. It's why you keep pretending it's not. I'm speaking to you, reader, the one who's brushed off that unease, told yourself it's nothing, that they didn't mean it that way. But let's stop right there and face a truth that cuts through the fog. People who secretly hate you don't always snarl or shout. Often they smile. They praise. They wrap their resentment in a cloak of kindness, so convincing you question your own instincts. But their mask slips through a barbed comment, a fleeting smirk, a silence that speaks louder than words. And when it does, it's like a shard of glass in your trust, sharp and undeniable. Carl Jung saw this dance of deception clearly. He wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. When someone's hiding hatred, that reaction isn't harmony, it's corrosion. And you feel it, even if you don't want to. Let's call it what it is. False kindness is a weapon. It's the art of saying one thing while meaning another, of building you up just to watch you falter. The harsh reality is this. Those who harbor resentment often can't face it themselves, so they dress it up as care. They'll cheer your successes, but lace their words with envy. They'll offer support, but withdraw it when you need it most. They'll laugh with you, but their eyes will betray a flicker of disdain. And the worst part, you let it slide. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, that you're reading too much into it. But every time you do, you give them permission to chip away at your confidence, your clarity, your peace. You know someone like that, don't you? Maybe it's not a coworker. Maybe it's a friend who always has a backhanded compliment ready. You look great for once. Or a family member whose support comes with strings, unraveling the moment you outshine them. Look at your life, reader. Who's there, offering words that sound right but feel wrong? Who leaves you second-guessing, wondering if you're the one who's off? Jung's wisdom cuts deep here. When two people meet, something shifts. If their kindness feels like a transaction, if their warmth leaves you cold, that's not your failure. It's their shadow showing through, and it's time you paid attention. The pain of this realization is real. It's a gut punch to think someone you care about, someone you've let into your world, could be hiding such darkness. You want to believe in their goodness, in the bond you've built, in the idea that love, any kind of love, means truth. But false kindness thrives on that hope. It counts on your willingness to overlook the signs, to fill in the gaps with trust they haven't earned. And every time you do, you hand them a piece of your power. You let their mask define your reality, let their hidden hatred seep into your sense of self. It's a slow erosion, reader, and it's happening right under your nose. So why do they do it? Why not just say it, let the truth spill out and be done with it? Because facing their resentment would mean facing themselves, their envy, their insecurity, their fear of being less. Jung taught us that the shadow, that unacknowledged part of the psyche, doesn't like the light. It hides, twists, projects. When someone can't confront their own flaws, they pin them on you. Your success becomes their mirror, reflecting what they lack. Your joy becomes their wound, reminding them of what they can't feel. And instead of healing, they hurt. Instead of growing, they disguise their pain as kindness, hoping you'll carry it for them. It's heavy, I know. The idea that someone's smile could be a lie, that their words could be a trap, it shakes the ground you walk on. You start to question everything. Were they ever real? Did I miss something? Am I the fool? But let me tell you this, reader, you're not the fool. You're the one with the courage to feel, to notice, to question. The fool is the one who thinks they can hide forever, who believes their mask is flawless. You're stronger than that. You're awake, even if it hurts, even if it's messy, even if it means rethinking who you let close. What will you do with that strength? Will you keep excusing the barbs, telling yourself it's not worth the fight? Or will you start watching, listening, trusting the part of you that knows better? I'm asking you to look, really look, at the people around you, whose kindness feels like a performance, whose words don't match their actions. Jung's insight is a lifeline here. The reaction between you and them reveals something. If it's unease, if it's doubt, if it's a quiet ache that won't go away, that's not your imagination. That's truth knocking at your door. This isn't about paranoia. It's not about seeing enemies in every face. It's about clarity, about refusing to let someone else's shadow cloud your light. You deserve relationships that lift you, that reflect your worth, that feel as real as your own heartbeat. But to find them, you have to see through the masks. You have to trust yourself, even when it's hard, even when it means questioning people you love. Because love, real love, doesn't hide. It doesn't sting. It doesn't leave you wondering what you did wrong. So take a breath, reader. Stand in this moment and ask yourself, who's wearing a mask in your life? Whose kindness feels like a riddle you can't solve? The signs are there, subtle but sharp, waiting for you to name them. You're not here to carry their resentment. You're here to live your truth, to surround yourself with people who see you, not as a threat, but as a gift. The mask of false kindness is fragile. It cracks under scrutiny, under courage, under the weight of your own clarity. This is your beginning, not your end. The shadows are real, but so is your power. What will you see when you start looking closer? What if the hatred you sense isn't about you at all? Have you ever stopped to wonder why someone's words cut so deeply? Why their anger feels like it's aimed at a version of you that doesn't exist? Could it be that their resentment is a reflection, not of your flaws, but of theirs? Picture this, reader. Someone close, their eyes narrowed, their voice sharp, tearing into you for reasons you can't quite grasp. What if they're not fighting you, but a shadow they can't face within themselves? And here's the real question. How long will you carry their darkness before you realize it's not yours to hold? I'm talking to you, the one reading these words, the one who's felt the sting of unexplained hostility from someone you thought you knew. You've been there, haven't you? Replaying their criticism, their coldness, wondering what you did wrong, why they seem to begrudge your every step. It's exhausting, like walking through a storm you didn't create. But Carl Jung, that master of the human psyche, offered a lens to see this clearly. He wrote, "The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality." The shadow, those hidden, unacknowledged parts of ourselves, doesn't just live in us. It spills out, projecting onto others what we refuse to face. When someone secretly hates you, reader, it's often their shadow you're seeing, not your own. Here's a truth that lands like a stone. Their resentment might have nothing to do with who you are, and everything to do with who they can't be. Jung taught us that the shadow holds what we bury, our insecurities, our envies, our shame. When someone can't confront those truths, they turn you into a mirror, casting their darkness onto you. Your success becomes a reminder of their stagnation. Your confidence becomes a spotlight on their doubt. Your light becomes a threat to the parts of them they've locked away. And instead of facing it, they lash out quietly, subtly, making you feel like the problem when the real battle is within them. Think about that, reader. Who in your life makes you feel small for shining? Who turns your victories into warnings, your joy into something to question? I'm asking you to look at them, not with anger, but with clarity. Their hatred, their coldness, their subtle jabs, those aren't judgments on you. They're confessions of their own struggles, screams from a soul too scared to face itself. And yet, knowing this doesn't make it hurt less, does it? It's one thing to understand their shadow. It's another to feel its weight, to walk away from their words and still hear them echo, making you doubt your worth. The pain is real, and it's heavy. When someone close, a friend, a sibling, a partner, projects their darkness onto you, it's like being handed a burden you didn't ask for. You start to question yourself. Am I too much? Did I provoke this? Could I have been better? You twist yourself into knots, trying to fix what was never your fault. But let me tell you something, reader. You're not here to fix their shadow. You're not here to carry their resentment like a penance. You're here to live your truth, to stand in your light, to be the person you were born to be, even when others can't handle it. Jung's insight is a lifeline, but it's also a challenge. The shadow isn't just theirs, it's a mirror for you too. What is their hatred stirring you? Doubt? Anger? A need to please? Those feelings are your own shadows, rising to meet theirs. And that's where the work begins, not in changing them, but in understanding yourself. Why do you let their words linger? Why do you give their resentment power? I'm not saying it's easy. It's brutal, peeling back the layers of your own heart to see what's been wounded, what's been hidden. But it's also freedom, because the moment you stop taking their projection personally, the moment you see it for what it is, you start to break free. Let's pause here and breathe. Picture someone in your life, someone whose behavior doesn't add up. Maybe they're quick to criticize, slow to celebrate, always finding a way to make you feel less. Now ask yourself, what if their reaction is about them, not you? What if their sharpness is a reflection of their own pain, their own fear, their own shadow they can't face? It doesn't excuse their actions, nothing does, but it shifts the weight. It reminds you that you don't have to carry their darkness, that you can set it down, step back, and choose yourself instead. I know it's not simple. The heart clings to hope, to the idea that they'll change, that they'll see you for who you are and love you for it. And maybe they will one day. But right now, today, your job isn't to save them. It's to save yourself, to trust the part of you that feels the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's lonely, even when it means rethinking who you let close. Jung's words echo like a drumbeat. The shadow is a moral problem, a challenge to the whole self. Their shadow is their challenge. Yours is learning to let it go. So what will you do with this clarity? Will you keep absorbing their projections, letting their resentment shape how you see yourself? Or will you look into their mirror and see past the distortion, see the truth of who you are? I'm asking you, reader, to be brave, to think of that person, the one whose words don't match their eyes, whose presence leaves you heavy, and ask, what are they really saying? And why am I still listening? You're not here to be their scapegoat. You're here to be whole, to be real, to be free. This hurts, I know. It's a jagged pill to swallow, realizing that someone's hatred might be their own unhealed wound, that you've been caught in their crossfire. But there's power in this pain. It's the power to choose differently, to protect your heart, to surround yourself with people who reflect your light, not their shadows. You deserve that, reader. You deserve relationships that feel like home, not like a battlefield. And the first step is seeing their resentment for what it is, a mirror of their struggle, not a measure of your worth. The shadows are there, swirling between you and them, but they don't have to define you. Jung gave us the tools to understand, to untangle, to rise above. You're stronger than their projections, brighter than their darkness, more than their resentment could ever grasp. So take a breath and ask yourself, what's my shadow teaching me? And what am I ready to let go of? The answers are waiting, reader. They're yours to find. Are you ready to trust the voice inside you? The one that's been whispering, nudging, begging you to see what's real, even when it hurts. Have you reached that moment where you can stand tall and say, enough, I choose myself? You've walked with me through the shadows, peeled back the masks, faced the mirrors of others' darkness. Now here you are at a crossroads with a question that burns brighter than any doubt. Will you let their hidden hatred define you, or will you claim the power of your own truth? This isn't just an ending, reader. It's a beginning, a call to rise, to shine, to live without apology. I'm speaking to you, the one holding these words like a lifeline, the one who's felt the weight of someone's resentment, the sting of their false kindness, the ache of their projected shadows. You've seen it all, the subtle jabs, the flickering eyes, the silences that scream louder than words. You've questioned yourself, wondered if you're the problem, if you could have done more, been less, been different. But let me tell you something, right here, right now, you are enough. You always have been. Their hatred isn't your burden to carry. It's their prison, their struggle, their shadow. You're free. Free to choose who walks beside you. Free to let go of what dims your light. Free to step into the power that's been yours all along. Carl Jung, that guide through the labyrinth of the soul, left us a truth that echoes like a heartbeat. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Let those words sink in, reader. They're not just philosophy, they're a promise. You are not the sum of their resentment, their envy, their inability to see you clearly. You are what you decide to be, brave, whole, radiant, even in the face of betrayal. Their shadows can't touch that. Their masks can't hide that. Their hatred can't erase the truth of who you are, unless you let it. And you won't, will you? You've come too far for that. Let's talk about what's real. The world will tell you to hold on, to forgive endlessly, to keep toxic bonds because they're familiar, because they're family, because they're something. But here's the brutal clarity Jung's wisdom demands. Some relationships are chains, not anchors. They don't ground you, they pull you under. You've felt it, haven't you? The exhaustion of trying to please, to fix, to make sense of someone's coldness. The way their resentment lingers, like a fog you can't shake, clouding your joy, your confidence, your peace. But you don't have to stay in that fog. You can walk away. You can choose clarity over chaos, truth over illusion, yourself over their darkness. What would it feel like, reader, to let go like that? To stop chasing approval from someone who's already judged you? To stop carrying their shadow as if it's your own? Imagine it for a moment. You, standing in a space where no one's resentment can reach you, where your worth isn't up for debate, where your heart is free to love without fear. That's not a fantasy, it's a choice. A choice Jung pointed to when he urged us to become who we truly are, not who others demand we be. Their hatred, their masks, their projections, they're not your truth. Your truth is the fire in your soul, the clarity in your mind, the courage in your every step. I'm not saying it's easy. Walking away from someone close, a friend, a parent, a partner, feels like tearing out a piece of your history. It's messy, raw, full of questions that don't have neat answers. Will they change? Did I try hard enough? What if I'm wrong? But listen to me, reader. You're not wrong to trust yourself. You're not wrong to honor the part of you that feels the truth, that sees the signs, that knows you deserve better. Jung's wisdom isn't just about understanding others. It's about understanding you. Why do you hold on? What are you afraid of losing? And what could you gain if you let yourself be free? The pain of this journey is real, but it's also a gift. Every sting, every doubt, every moment you've questioned their intentions, it's brought you here to this clarity, this power. You've learned to see the shadows, to spot the masks, to recognize when someone's resentment is theirs, not yours. That's not weakness, it's strength. It's the strength to say, I won't let your darkness define me. It's the strength to choose relationships that feel like sunlight, not storms. It's the strength to become who you're meant to be, not who they need you to be. So, what will you do with that strength? Will you keep pouring energy into bonds that drain you, hoping one day they'll see you? Or will you turn toward the life waiting for you? The one where you're surrounded by people who celebrate your wins, who hold you through your losses, who love you for you. I'm asking you to choose, reader. Not tomorrow, not when it's easier, now. Choose the truth that's been growing in you, the power that's been waiting to break free. Their hatred is not your story. It's theirs. Yours is about courage, about light, about becoming. Picture it. You standing at this crossroads, the weight of their resentment falling away like leaves in the wind. You surrounded by people who see you, who reflect your worth, who make your heart feel full. You unafraid to walk away from what hurts, unafraid to embrace what heals. That's the life Jung dreamed for us, the one he fought for through every word, every insight. I am what I choose to become, he said, and he meant it for you too. You're not bound by their shadows. You're bound for something greater. Your truth, your power, your freedom. This is your moment, reader. The signs are clear, the path is open. Let go of what dims you. Hold tight to what makes you shine. Step away from their resentment, not with bitterness, but with grace, with resolve, with the knowledge that you are enough. Build a life where love is honest, where connection is real, where your heart doesn't have to second guess. You deserve that. You've always deserved that. Go now. Choose yourself. Let their shadows fade, and watch how brightly you burn.